All right, get ready to dive deep with us today into The Millionaire Mind. It's a book that goes way beyond those, get-rich-quick schemes and digs into how real people, everyday people, actually build wealth. We've got excerpts and data straight from the book, ready to break down the most impactful points for you. So whether you're, dreaming of financial freedom or just curious about how the other half thinks, this deep dive is for you. You know how we always hear about those millionaire success stories? The ones with fancy degrees and top-tier educations. Well, one of the first things that struck me is how this book kind of flips that whole idea on its head.
That's right. The author's research really dives into this group of self-made millionaires. And, those prestigious backgrounds, they don't seem to be the magic ingredient.
Yeah. And there's this quote that really stood out to me. Financial success has less to do with intellect and more to do with discipline, tenacity, and hard work. It's almost like they're saying street smarts can sometimes trump book smarts.
Absolutely. The book highlights how these individuals often display, a remarkable work ethic.
Yeah.
And an almost superhuman level of persistence.
Yeah.
Like this one guy who built $1 million business selling, you ready for this, used truck parts?
Used truck parts. Okay, now that's what I call finding a niche. But seriously, that's pretty incredible. What does the book say about how he was able to make that work?
It really emphasizes the importance of understanding a specific market. He saw a gap, a need for quality used truck parts, and figured out how to serve that need better than anyone else.
So it's not just about working hard. It's about finding those hidden opportunities and capitalizing on them.
Right. The book calls it hammering nails that pay you 100 times.
Yeah.
For this guy, each used truck part was that nail. It wasn't just about the money from each sale. It was about building a system, an asset, that generated income even when he wasn't directly involved.
Okay, so that makes sense. But honestly, for most of us, building an entire business seems like a pretty daunting task. Is there anything in there about, say, smaller scale assets that everyday people could focus on?
Definitely. The book talks a lot about the difference between working for our money and having money work for you. It uses the example of rental properties. Owning even a single rental property can create a stream of passive income, which is a key concept in the book.
Passive income, that's the dream, right? But I imagine buying property takes a ton of upfront cash. Does the book address how these millionaires manage that?
It emphasizes patience and strategic thinking, even when it comes to buying a home for themselves. There's a section that talks about how they often wait years, not even decades, to find the right property at the right price. They're not rushing into things. They're playing the long game.
Wow, waiting decades for a home sounds a bit extreme. But I can see how that patience plays into their overall financial strategies. Like they're always thinking 10 steps ahead.
Exactly. It ties into their overall approach. Discipline, long-term thinking.
Yeah.
Not making impulsive decisions.
That's pretty interesting. It seems like we often hear about millionaires making, flashy purchases. But this book is painting a different picture. Speaking of challenging those assumptions, the book also debunks some myths about millionaire lifestyles, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a whole section dedicated to debunking the stereotype of the flashy millionaire lifestyle. It turns out many of them prioritize experiences and relationships over fancy cars and designer clothes. They value family gatherings and meaningful social interactions over, extravagant parties and exclusive galas.
So it's not all champagne wishes and caviar dreams. That's kind of refreshing to hear, actually. I always wondered if all that stuff actually made people happier.
Well, the book dives into that, too. It suggests that a lot of millionaires find true fulfillment, not in accumulating material possessions, but in building strong social networks and prioritizing genuine happiness over fleeting displays of wealth.
So it's like they're saying, invest in people, not just possessions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They seem to understand that a supportive community and a fulfilling personal life are crucial components of their success, not just the money itself.
And speaking of relationships, I've always been curious about the partners millionaires choose. I mean, does the book delve into what they look for in a spouse?
Oh, absolutely. There's some really fascinating data on that. The research points to shared values, ambition, and discipline as key predictors of marital success among millionaires.
Wait, so they're not just looking for someone to, take care of them or spend their money?
It seems that way. The book suggests they're looking for partners who are just as driven and ambitious as they are. Partners who contribute to their shared journey of wealth creation.
So it's more about finding a partner who's on the same wavelength when it comes to building a life together.
Precisely. The book really emphasizes this idea of marriage, being a partnership in every sense of the word, financially, emotionally, and in terms of their shared goals and aspirations.
That's super interesting. Now, I know we like to get into the nitty-gritty details here. And the book actually breaks down the millionaires into different groups based on how they built their wealth, inherited versus self-made. I'm guessing that distinction leads to some pretty big differences in how they think and act, right?
You guessed it, and that's what we'll be exploring in the next part of our deep dive.
Can't wait to unpack that.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the Millionaire Mind. Last time, we left off talking about how the book categorizes millionaires into those who inherited their wealth and those who built it themselves.
Right, and I'm really curious to hear how their mindsets and behaviors differ, especially when it comes to things like taking risks. I mean, if you built your fortune from scratch, wouldn't you be more comfortable taking a gamble?
You're spot on. The book dives into this exact point. Self-made millionaires seem to have a much higher tolerance for calculated risks, especially when it comes to finances. It's almost like they see risk as a necessary ingredient for big rewards.
Makes sense, right? If you've already seen those risky moves pay off in the past, you'd be more likely to keep rolling the dice.
Yeah. The book actually uses the term calculated risk quite a bit. It's not about being reckless. It's about carefully weighing the potential rewards against the potential downsides. And self-made millionaires seem to be masters of that.
Okay, so that's risk-taking. What other differences stood out to you?
Well, their investment strategies tend to differ as well. The book talks about how self-made millionaires often invest in areas they deeply understand, even if those investments are considered unconventional. For example, instead of putting all their money in stocks and bonds, they might invest in a local business or real estate ventures, stuff they can actually get their hands dirty with.
So they like to be more hands-on, involved in the actual workings of their investments, rather than just passively watching a stock ticker.
Exactly. They often have a specific vision and want to be actively involved in bringing that vision to life.
While those who inherited their wealth are more likely to stick with those traditional investments.
Right. It's less about building something new and more about preserving what they already have. It's a different kind of mindset altogether.
Interesting. It seems like this whole idea of control plays a big role in how self-made millionaires approach not just their investments, but their careers as well. Does the book touch on that?
Absolutely. It challenges the notion that everyone should just chase the highest paying jobs. For these self-made millionaires, it's often more about finding work that aligns with their passions and allows them to fully utilize their skills.
So it's more about finding a career that feels meaningful and fulfilling, rather than just chasing a big paycheck.
That seems to be a recurring theme. We seem to understand that when you're truly passionate about your work, the money often follows naturally.
It's like they're saying, find what you love to do, become incredibly good at it, and the financial rewards will come.
Exactly. They're building careers that play to their strengths and fuel their sense of purpose, which is a pretty powerful recipe for both personal and financial success.
I love that. Now, I know we touched on this earlier, but the book also spends a good chunk of time debunking myths about millionaire lifestyles, like the whole lavish spending thing. What are some of the other misconceptions it tackles?
Well, it addresses the idea that all millionaires are workaholics. In reality, many of them prioritize family time and personal well-being over constantly grinding away at their businesses.
Really? I always pictured them chained to their desks, constantly checking stock prices and making deals.
The book actually suggests that they're quite strategic about how they manage their time and energy. They understand the importance of rest and rejuvenation, and they make sure to carve out space for personal pursuits and quality time with loved ones.
So it's more about working smart than just working hard all the time?
Precisely. They're not afraid to delegate tasks, streamline their processes, and create systems that allow them to work more efficiently and enjoy a more balanced life.
That's inspiring. It's like they're saying you don't have to sacrifice your personal life or burn yourself out to achieve financial success.
Right. And the book also debunks the idea that millionaires are all big spenders. It turns out many of them are surprisingly frugal, especially when it comes to things that don't align with their values or long-term goals.
Okay, so they're not all driving around in fancy sports cars and wearing designer clothes.
While some might enjoy those things, many prioritize value and mindful spending over extravagant displays of wealth.
So they're not necessarily against spending money, but they're more intentional about how they spend it.
Exactly. They're not afraid to splurge on things they truly value, experiences, education, their health, but they're not wasting money on things that don't bring them lasting joy or contribute to their overall well-being.
That makes sense. It's like they're saying, invest in what matters and don't let your spending habits control you.
It's a powerful message. And the book provides a lot of specific examples of how they manage their finances in a way that allows them to both enjoy life and build long-term wealth.
So it's not just about denying yourself pleasure or living like a monk. It's about being mindful and intentional about your spending choices.
Right. And it's about understanding that true wealth isn't just about the numbers in your bank account. It's about creating a life that feels rich and meaningful in every sense of the word.
Now, I'm curious about how this mindful spending approach extends to their everyday lives. Does the book touch on that?
It does. There's a section that talks about how millionaires often handle tasks themselves. If it saves them money in the long run, they're not afraid to roll up their sleeves and get things done.
Wait, you mean like doing their own home repairs or cooking their own meals instead of always hiring someone?
Exactly. They're not letting pride or a sense of entitlement dictate their choices. It's about being resourceful, practical, and taking control of your expenses.
So it's not about being cheap. It's about being smart and strategic about where you choose to spend your money.
Right. And it ties back to that idea of self-reliance and taking ownership of your finances.
I like that. It's a much more down-to-earth view of millionaires than we typically see in media. Now, I'm also curious about how they spend their free time. Does the book debunk any myths about their leisure activities?
Absolutely. It challenges the notion that they're all jet-setting around the world or attending fancy galas every weekend. In reality, many of them prioritize activities that align with their values and bring them genuine happiness.
So what kind of things are they doing in their downtime?
The book highlights how many millionaires spend their free time with family and friends, pursue hobbies they genuinely enjoy, and engage in activities that contribute to their personal growth.
So it's less about extravagance and more about meaningful experiences.
Precisely. Their leisure activities often reflect their values and priorities.
That's pretty cool. It's a reminder that true wealth isn't just about the money. It's about how you choose to spend your time and energy.
Exactly. They're creating lives filled with meaningful experiences, not just accumulating possessions.
Yeah. One thing I'm always fascinated by is how successful people deal with setbacks and failures. Does the book offer any insights into how millionaires handle those inevitable bumps in the road?
Oh, absolutely. And this is where it gets really inspiring. The book emphasizes how they view mistakes as learning opportunities, not as reasons to give up on their dreams.
So they're not letting those failures define them or crush their spirit?
Not at all. They seem to have this remarkable ability to bounce back from adversity. They analyze what went wrong, extract the lessons, and come back stronger than ever.
It's like they're saying, okay, that didn't work, but what can I learn from this? And how can I use it to improve?
Exactly. They're not letting fear of failure paralyze them. They're using it as fuel to drive them forward.
That's incredibly powerful. It's a reminder that the path to success is rarely a straight line. It's filled with twists, turns, and unexpected obstacles. But what sets these individuals apart is their ability to navigate those challenges with resilience and determination.
And their willingness to learn from their mistakes. They see failure not as an ending, but as a stepping stone to something greater.
Now, I know we've talked a lot about their mindsets and habits, but does the book delve into any specific strategies they use to achieve their goals?
It does. And there are some real gems in there. They talk about the importance of hard work, preparation, and a relentless focus on finding solutions rather than dwelling on problems.
So it's not just about positive thinking, it's about taking action and being proactive in the face of challenges.
Right. They're not just waiting for things to happen. They're actively shaping their reality and creating their own opportunities.
And speaking of opportunities, the book also highlights how millionaires often possess a unique ability to see opportunities that others miss. It's like they have a sixth sense for spotting those hidden gems.
They're constantly observing,
Yeah.
questioning, and looking for ways to improve existing systems or create entirely new solutions. They're not just going through the motions. They're actively engaging with the world around them and seeking out ways to make a difference.
It's like they're wearing a different set of glasses, seeing potential where others see only limitations.
It's a great analogy. They're not afraid to think differently, challenge conventional wisdom, and create their own path to success.
Now, I'm also curious about their approach to education and learning. I mean, do they all have advanced degrees or rely solely on formal education?
Not necessarily. The book emphasizes the importance of lifelong learning. Regardless of formal credentials, they're voracious readers, attend conferences, take courses,
Right.
and seek out mentors who can help them expand their knowledge and expertise.
So it's not about collecting degrees. It's about cultivating a mindset of continuous learning and growth.
Exactly. They're constantly seeking new knowledge and skills that can help them achieve their goals and make a greater impact on the world.
It's like they're saying, the learning never stops, no matter how much you achieve.
Right. They see knowledge as a powerful tool for growth and success.
Yeah. I know we've been focusing a lot on the business and financial aspects of their lives, but does the book touch on their personal lives and relationships?
It does. And this is where we see a more holistic view of their success. They understand the importance of investing in their personal growth and well-being.
So it's not just about their careers. It's about creating a balanced and fulfilling life.
Exactly. They're prioritizing their health, engaging in activities that bring them joy, and nurturing their relationships with family and friends.
It's like they're saying, what's the point of all this success if you don't have a fulfilling life to enjoy it?
Right. They're recognizing that true success, it encompasses all aspects of life, not just financial achievements.
That's such an important message. Now, I'm curious about how they approach giving back to their communities. Do they engage in philanthropy? And if so, what does that look like?
Oh, absolutely. Philanthropy is a big part of their lives. But it's often done in a way that aligns with their values and passions. They're not just writing checks. They're actively involved in causes they care about, using their resources and expertise to make a real difference.
So it's more than just donating money. It's about being personally invested in making a positive impact.
Exactly. They're using their wealth and influence to create positive change in areas they feel passionate about.
That's amazing. Now, all this talk about millionaire habits and mindsets is pretty inspiring, but I imagine some people might feel overwhelmed by it all. Does the book offer any guidance on how to start cultivating these qualities?
It does. And one of the most powerful messages is that anyone can apply these principles, regardless of their current financial situation.
So you don't have to be a millionaire to start thinking like one.
Exactly. It's about adopting a mindset of growth, abundance, and possibility. It's about believing in yourself, setting ambitious goals, and taking consistent action towards creating the life you envision.
It's like they're saying you don't have to wait until you're rich to start living a rich life.
That's a great way to put it. And the book provides a lot of practical tips and strategies for how to do just that.
No. I know we've covered a lot of ground, but does the book delve into any specific techniques or strategies they use to overcome fear, build confidence, and ultimately achieve their goals?
It does. And that's what we'll be exploring in the final part of our deep dive.
Can't wait to hear more. Welcome back to our deep dive into the Millionaire Mind. We've covered a lot of ground, from their, unconventional career paths to their surprisingly down-to-earth lifestyles.
And now we're getting to the heart of it.
Yeah.
The strategies and mindsets
Yeah.
that help them stay motivated and navigate those inevitable challenges on the road to success.
Right, because let's face it, life throws curveballs at everyone, millionaire or not. So what does the book say about how they handle those tough times?
Well, one key theme that really stands out is the importance of discipline. The book emphasizes how self-made millionaires are like masters of self-control. They're able to align their actions with their long-term goals, even when it means delaying gratification or making tough choices.
So it's not about being restrictive or joyless. It's more about having that bigger picture in mind and making choices that support that vision.
Exactly. It's about understanding that success is a marathon, not a sprint. And they're willing to put in the work, even when it's not easy or fun.
The book also talks about the power of positive self-talk. Is it just about reciting affirmations? Or is there more to it?
It goes deeper than that.
Yeah.
It's about cultivating a belief in your own abilities.
Yeah.
Even when faced with setbacks. It's about focusing on solutions.
Yeah.
Rather than dwelling on problems.
So it's like they're their own internal cheerleaders, constantly pumping themselves up and reminding themselves that they can overcome any obstacle.
That's a great way to put it. They're creating a mindset of resilience and optimism, understanding that their thoughts and beliefs directly impact their actions and results.
And this positive outlook seems to extend to how they handle failures. They don't see them as defeats, but as opportunities to learn and grow.
Right. They're not afraid to make mistakes because they see them as valuable feedback. They analyze what went wrong extract the lessons, and use those insights to improve their strategies.
It's like they're constantly asking themselves, what can I learn from this experience? How can I use this to become even better?
Exactly. They're embracing challenges as opportunities for growth. And that's a powerful mindset shift that anyone can adopt.
Now, the book also talks about the importance of surrounding yourself with the right people. Is it just about networking? Or is there a deeper meaning to the relationships they cultivate?
It's definitely not just about superficial connections. They seem to understand the power of genuine, supportive relationships. They build networks of mentors, advisors, and like-minded individuals who inspire them and challenge them to grow.
So it's about surrounding yourself with people who believe in you, push you to be your best, and provide guidance and support along the way.
Right. They're creating a team of champions, people who have their backs, and encourage them to pursue their dreams.
And this focus on relationships extends to their personal lives as well, right? They're not neglecting their loved ones in pursuit of financial success.
Absolutely. The book emphasizes how they prioritize family time, friendships, and personal connections. They understand that true success is holistic. It encompasses all areas of life, not just the financial aspects.
It's like they're saying, what's the point of achieving all this if you don't have people to share it with and a life that feels truly fulfilling?
Exactly. They're creating lives that are rich in both experiences and meaningful connections.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are some key takeaways that our listeners can apply to their own lives, even if they're not millionaires yet?
Well, I think one of the most powerful messages is that anyone can adopt these principles and strategies, regardless of their current circumstances. It's about cultivating a mindset of growth, believing in your own abilities, and taking consistent action towards your goals.
So it's not about waiting for some magical moment or winning the lottery. It's about making conscious choices every day that move you closer to the life you desire.
Right. It's about taking ownership of your journey and understand that success is a process, not a destination.
And one of the most inspiring aspects of the Millionaire Mind is that it reframes success in a way that goes beyond just money. It's about finding fulfillment in your work, nurturing meaningful relationships, and making a positive impact on the world.
Exactly. It's about creating a life that feels rich and meaningful in every sense of the word.
So to our listeners, we encourage you to take these insights to heart. What habits can you cultivate? What mindsets can you adopt? What relationships can you nurture to propel you towards greater success and fulfillment?
And remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So start today. Embrace the challenges. Believe in yourself. And never stop learning and growing.
That's fantastic advice. Until next time, keep those minds sharp and those ambitions soaring.